So as we saw from our previous examples, the tactics are often born from positional aspects. We see there should be tactics in this position, and we try to use the possibilities. We try to see what kind of options do we have, captures, checks, and so on. Sometimes, apart from this, tactics are born out of need. Sometimes the strategic character of the position is such that if you do not find something, if you do not make something work, then strategically you are lost. So sometimes they are born out of despair. Now, please take a look at my game against the one of the best Chinese players of all times, Ye Zhangchuan. In this position, I was black, and my opponent had managed in the first phase of the game to outplay me. Now, if you look at the pawn structure, you will see that on the queen side, he has a great passed pawn on c5, supported by the central pawn on d4, and I instead only have weaknesses. You will also see that if I don't do anything, that at some point his rook will come to a2, and then he will slowly collect my weaknesses, and also that my knight is not moving because d5 is hanging. And all this might help you to understand that black is in need of a tactical solution. Now, once our thoughts are turned this direction, what are positional factors which could enable the tactical solution? Well, the positional factors are that white king is on f2, and all his pieces are on the queen side. So if I could start some action against the king, then maybe his pieces would not be quick enough to react. Now, the normal strategic way, so to speak, of starting the action would be to play g4, trying to unsettle his structure on f3 and so on, or playing rook e3. But in fact, it is important to start looking at concrete possibilities first. That's the possibilities connected to checks and captures. Now, once this occurs to you, it is easy to see that, for instance, after knight g4 check, f takes g4, the king on f2 really becomes problematic. Rook f6 check, and suddenly it is just made. Wherever you go, king g3 is rook e3, and king g1 is rook e1. Sometimes this happens, that just mates they come out of almost nothing. It just happens that check is made. That's why it is always good to check it if you have some possibilities. So after knight g4, of course, white is not forced to go into this. White can go king g3. So because king f1 or king g1 would also be made on e1. So and what happens after king g3? Now we quickly check the mating possibilities. Do we see any? No, there are no checks. There is nothing of the kind. So, and if we try, let's say, f5, now he can just take on g4. Now it is no problem because I have no rook on the f file and there is no mate. So we just go knight e3. And that's it. What did we achieve with these tactics? What did we achieve from seeing these lines? Well, we in fact achieved a lot. In the starting position, knight was on f6, was passively defending the pawn on d5. And just after one move, knight g4 check, king g3, knight e3, the fact that we saw tactics enabled us to activate the piece. To activate the piece in such a manner that the position became unclear from being strategically lost. Now we have ideas like f5, f4. The knight on e3 is excellently placed to attack g2 to harass the king and to protect the d5 pawn. And later I went on to win the game. And so you see another interesting usage of tactics. Tactics to improve the location of your piece. We had all sorts of tactics by now. We had some mating tactics, we had distracting tactics, we had defending tactics, like in my game against Kozel, counter-attacking to save the material, to win the material. And now we see tactics can be actually used for about everything. Now with tactics, in this example, we improved the location of our piece and changed the evaluation. And plus we saw that in this example, tactics can be sometimes born out of need, out of despair, just out of necessity, because strategical aspects are not good. And in fact, this is what many players use, just like Anand, for instance. Why it is so difficult to win any game against him, when he feels that strategical aspects of the position are not promising enough, when he sees that normal course of the game would lead to a loss, he becomes incredibly tactically alert and tries to change the normal course of the game almost at every move, generating a tremendous number of tactical possibilities. And as we see in this example, sometimes it works, and the evaluation of position can be changed drastically. And thus we go on to our next example.